Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me. This is Game God Fluent, bringing you episode 31 of Let's Play Loren, the Amazon Princess. Last episode, we were able to do a couple personal quests, and we managed to pick up Ray's personal quest, and that's what we're going to start with. And I'm not too thrilled to do it because it's probably going to be hard with Ray, but I don't know. We'll see. It is what it is. I guess Ray will be in the front row with Saren in the back row this time. Saren approached Ray and informed him that he was ready to leave. They were on their way to Grand Tree before Saren could ask any questions. When they arrived in the city, Saren was surprised to see a festival was taking place. Acrobats, dancers, and musicians filled the forest, along with gawking spectators and opportunistic vendors. Perfect. What's going on? Annually, we give thanks to the forest. Not that you'd care. I do. I'm sure. The merriment is perfect for us. We should be able to go anywhere without much suspicion about that. Not here. Ray cut away suddenly and Saren followed him. They weaved through the crowds and wound up at a public house. They moved towards the stairwell, but Ray stopped. Elf guards were blocking the way up. Okay, your time to shine. Excuse me? Ray pushed Saren towards the guards and now had their full attention. Hello? Let's go ahead and save. Hello? The guards looked at each other, then back at Saren. Hello? Hold on. Aren't you that man that Mirth pardoned? That elf was my friend. Curse it, Saren. Haven't you ever beguiled your way past guards before? Oh dear. Gotta take out this druid and we can't even reach her. Why do ranged weapons do nothing against some enemies? I don't really get it. But like, we're not going to get by doing that. Like, my attacks do nothing for some reason. And we have to melee them? Like, really? I mean, I guess.
I was expecting more of a challenge.
Restore. Oh boy. I don't really get it, but like, my skills don't affect her? Is it because they have no anger or something? I do not understand. We just gotta keep doing this and he's out of MP already. Now let's go ahead and mess her up. In a very slow fashion that we can't really do much damage. Just keep whacking on her. Somehow this is the ticket. I don't get it, but there we go. We've completed the task. Got a quartz, 49 gold. They dragged the unconscious bodies of the guards around the corner so that they weren't seen. The rowdiness of the crowd could only cover up so much. Ray signaled Saren to lower his voice. He leaned forward to peer around the corner. He straightened and walked around the corner without reserve. Saren followed, expecting to see an empty room, but several nymphs were lounging around, lazily flapping their wings. They perked up at the sight of them. Ladies? The nymphs were agitated and started to furiously flap their wings. We shouldn't be here. Which is exactly why we should be. The nymphs hovered off the floor with violent glares. I think they're going to attack us. Shame, they're so pretty. Nymphs. Okay. Can we hit them with arrows? Yes. Wonderful. That's all that really matters. Come on, Saren. Dang, did not kill. We kind of are taking a beating here. I wanted to heal before, in case we get into a fight next round. Or next time. 68, dang. $62, dang. Go ahead and heal yourself again. Kill the nymphs. Aquamarine, 66 gold. The nymphs squealed and flew out of the windows. They barely had time to recover before they heard the sound of people coming up the steps. Distract him for me. What? But Ray was gone. He had disappeared somewhere in the room. A dignified elf and the two guards swung around the corner and stopped upon seeing Saren. That's one of them. Where's the other? Who are you? I think it is you who should explain who he is. Let me guess, you are an assassin sent by one of my rivals. The fancy elf laughed to himself. What lengths some will go to see that I never make it to the Elder's Circle. Your failed return should be all the message they need. The guards prepared to attack Saren. Ray dropped from the ceiling and both guards were knocked face first into the floor. The assassin's crossbow clicked beside the politician's head. You guessed wrong. The politician glowered and slowly turned to meet the deadly end of Ray's weapon. No, it truly makes sense. I was meant to see your face before I died. Much more cruel. Ray was confused for a moment, which prevented him from firing his bolt. My face? You're the young Copperleaf child, aren't you? I must say, it isn't working. I feel nothing and regret nothing. Would you mind making some sense, or were those your poetic last words? You don't even know. The politician laughed, and the confusion angered Ray. What don't I know? I knew your parents. The same fool who sent you here to me knew them too. The elf laughed deliriously, and Ray kicked him to the floor. Did she really not expect that I might tell you? Did she plan that I would die before I got a chance? Ray glared at the cackling elf on the floor. His crossbow was starting to tremble. Dark elves. No. You. Ray's voice was low and harsh. And her. They were in our way. Ray's bolt flew from his crossbow and the laughter ceased. He didn't move for a long while. His eyes still burned into the dead elf. Ray, it's over now. No, it's not over yet. Ray ran forward and leaped out of the room through the window. Saren ran to the window and watched him hit the ground running. Saren scrambled to make it out of the building fast enough to keep sight of where he was going. He watched Ray make his way across town into a large tree manor. By the time Ray found an open window, Saren had managed to catch up with him. But Ray did not stop, and he immediately scaled the side of the treehouse and dove into the open window. Saren followed, though with much less ease or grace. When Saren did clamber inside, he saw Ray panting in the center of the room, staring at an old woman sipping some tea. "It's done?" Ray was silent. He was still breathing very heavily, and his eyes were still burning. "Then he told you." "You said it was the Dark Elves." The old elf placed down her tea. "Of course, I couldn't tell you it was me." Ray readied his crossbow. "Haven't you killed enough for today?" "Listen to your friend. Killing me will not bring back your parents." "It will avenge them." "Revenge holds no reward. Everything about it is hollow. There's nothing you can say that won't end with you upon my arrows." The elder rose and held a look with Ray. She then walked towards a cabinet and pulled out a drawer. She pulled out an ornate box and brought it back to the table. Ray kept his aim on her the whole time. "I kept this from you since I would have to explain how it came into my possession. But now that you know, I need you to take it. Cleanse me of this guilt." "I care nothing for your guilt. I want what you cannot give me. My family, my life. I've spent all this time thinking the Dark Elves were my enemy, and you grew into becoming one of the greatest assassins that Grand Tree has ever seen. I'm sorry for what had to happen, but if I have to choose, I would rather stay where I am." The old elf called for her pets, and they slithered into the room. Oh dear. Tribe leader. Can't shoot her. Can't do anything to her. Fatality 2. They're not under 40% of health. So shoot it. Bunch of poison. Nature's Touch, of course. Shoot it. They're going to act again. Throw a 150 bomb. Dang. Are they under 40% of health? I don't even know.
Watch it. Thank you later.
Well, we're somehow doing a good job. Only melee weapons hurt her for some reason. Maybe she resists ranged or something. Ooh, nice. Shattered her. Lovely.
Watch it.
Game over. Nice. 58 gold, quartz, good XP. Ray almost could not stand after the fight was over. His training was failing after learning such devastating news. "We need to go now before we are caught." Eventually, Ray stood up and recomposed himself. He looked over at the box on the table. He approached the box and opened it. Inside was a crossbow embellished with the copper leaf insignia. Ray reached out and lifted it gently out. "Did that belong to your parents?" "It seems one thing about my past has not been a lie. My father was also a marksman." "Then it is in your blood." Ray zoned out once more, but then he shook out of it and headed for the windows. "We must disappear, now. I'm right behind you." Ray jumped out of the window like before, and Saren learned to keep pace this time around. They escaped deep into the woods away from any town. The long walk back to camp provided Ray with ample time to reflect on his entire life to date. Are you all right? I think so. I'm disturbed, that's all. Do you think differently of the Dark Elves now? Ray didn't answer, which was as good as one to Saren. Ray didn't want to admit that his thinking had been completely wrong. Although it was not clear if his new knowledge would change his views on certain things, it was clear that his father's crossbow became his new favorite weapon. He received the Copperleaf crossbow. Alright, let's go ahead and equip that on Ray. Which is not really an upgrade from the Elder Druid crossbow, actually. But we'll go ahead and give it to him. And the Elder Druid crossbow can go to Dora. Versus the Master's crossbow. Yeah, I would go ahead and do that. And the Master's crossbow can go to Loren, maybe? Me? No. I have an Elder Druid. Misfit has an Elder Druid. Karen has an Elven Rangers. Alright, so I guess we just sell that. I don't know how we're going to do Apolimesho's quest. We've got to go fight some Cyclopes, I think. Touch Chisulu Ruins. He's got a few things, nothing really interesting there. Mort's Mantle. Berserker's Necklace. Death Knight Helm. Demon Lord's Necklace. Necklace of the Warlord. Chainmail of Nature. Burning Immune. Frozen Weak. Those are good boots for Karen. Sell the bow, sell the Staff of Mountains, sell the Master's crossbow, sell the ruby, the emeralds, the quartz, and the aquamarine. Let's pick up another bomb. We have 1026. Should you use one of these? Oh. You've got a shield you've got to use, though. That's the thing. Club of Sacred Woods is an upgrade for you. Let's go ahead and equip that directly and sell Mace the Bear, which almost paid for itself. Ray has an Axe of Fury. Sure. Equip that directly. And sell the short sword Ice Spike and the shield. And 450. We have 400 left. Chain Gloves of the Forest. Cap of the Siren, Leggings of the Death Knight, Barbarian Leather Cap. Leather Armor Stronghold. Alright, so that's about all we're going to buy here. take our 400 and head to Horus, maybe. Sword sure pain. No one can really use that. Headed on the Lober. Defense, Buckler of Rocks, Raven's Bandana. You can use a Raven's Bandana. And how about a Necklace of Strength for... You have one for Amukiki or Karen? Let's go Amukiki. Alright, we've spent our money. Let's go ahead and save episode 31. And let's go ahead and camp and do Loren's quest. So this should be interesting with an actual good team here. Loren simply nodded and they made their way to the Citadel. Loren was greeted as an unproven princess, but she would leave as something more. A crowd gathered in the Citadel Plaza. The trial of queens started and ended with a public ceremony. How do we begin? I have yet to be told. The crowd parted and Karen walked up to her daughter. Loren, I am glad to see my own daughter where I once stood. May you own the pleasure some day as well. The trial of queens takes place below in the reliquary. The door is here. Karen gestured to a great stone door on the side of the castle. Loren had never paid any attention to it before, but now she realized why. You will go with your servant into those depths. Your trial will be complete when you find yourself out of them again. What will I find there? Only queens shall know. Loren took in a deep breath, knowing that would be the most she would get out of her mother. Then I will find out. Until then... Loren moved towards the door and Saren followed right behind her. The princess looked over at him and they shared a look. The doors were opened for them and they both walked slowly into the darkness. They descended deep into the ground. Ancient weapons and other historical Amazonian artifacts lined the walls around them. There were also the mummified remains of great Amazons. The Great Mothers. I am uncomfortable here. Yes, The sound of clattering bones surprised them and they whirled around to attack. A skeleton stood before them. Another queen has come. I cannot believe it. Hold your weapon. Loren bravely walked up to the skeleton and watched her calmly. Are you one of my great mothers? Your land is in famine. What? A child steals food. Do you punish the child? Pardon? Do you punish the child? I'm going to say no. Do not punish the child. How could punishing a child for the crime of hunger serve my people? The skeleton immediately collapsed into a pile of bones. What happened? I'm not sure. Who was that? I believe I know. There was a queen who sentenced a child to death in her reign. There were many deaths from starvation that year. Perhaps her spirit regrets her decision. Then the Great Mothers are warning you not to repeat their mistakes. Loren nodded and continued through the reliquary. Another skeleton hobbled into their path, but they were not frightened this time. What does this one have to say? Loren approached it cautiously. The slaves revolted. They have killed many Amazons. Their fate is in your hands. How do you handle them? Spare them. I would rather find out why they've revolted. Our servants work best when their needs are met. Loren looked over at Saren briefly. The skeleton crumpled. Saren sighed in relief. You answered correctly. Truly, I am answering from my heart, even though it conflicts with tradition. Is the trial broken? They want differently for you, maybe. Loren was silent a moment and then pressed on. Go ahead and hit my water bottle here. After some time scouring the darkness, yet another skeletal Amazon crossed their path. And what do you wish to teach me? An Amazon has been found in the arms of a man. They are lovers. Who do you kill? Oh, wow. We have to kill somebody? Kill the Amazon. I would punish thee. Loren could not think of a faceless Amazon. She could only think of her mother or herself. Loren swallowed and could not continue. And then she was very angry. I would not kill either of them. How can you offer me no other option? Why is such a love forbidden at all? The skeleton disappeared from Loren's view just as she was working herself up. She had to blink a few times to realize she had passed the Great Mother's question. Saren looked upon his mistress with new eyes. He wasn't expecting that answer, but he was more happy than he realized when she had refused all options. Loren stood in silence for a long while. Loren? She turned around with a start. I am sorry. Let's move on. They walked further until they reached the end of the reliquary. There was a similar stone door, which meant they had found their exit. We've made it, Your Highness. I was expecting more. It's no matter. Let's be done with this. She pushed away her disappointment and opened the door with Saren's help. Moonlight poured into the cavern. They stepped out into the night and saw that the population had gathered on the other side to welcome them. However, instead of being greeted with celebration, all of the Amazons were quiet. Loren was wary as she stepped out in front of them. Queen Karen stepped out from the crowd with her war spear ready. A circle formed around Karen and Loren. Saren was pulled back into the crowd. I see. I am to duel my own mother. Prove to your people that you are worth their loyalty. Karen raised her spear and braced herself for battle. Loren breathed deeply and reached for her own weapon. It would not be easy crossing weapons with her own mother, but she also feared that she may lose. Karen was not just one Amazon, but their queen. And even knowing that, she gave her mother one of the mightiest war cries. Party limit is 1. Alright, let's go ahead and save here. Suddenly she's stronger. Knockdown. Wow. Knockdown. Dang. Knockdown. Karen's strong all of a sudden. Go ahead and drink a healing potion. Wow. We need like a major healing potion. This is not good. Knockdown. Alright. Critical. 16 gold. Level up. Strength. Will. Karen tumbled and caught herself. She panted and rose to one knee. It was then when the crowd was allowed to celebrate. Karen stood up and smiled at her daughter. Loren found herself smiling as well. She looked around at the Amazons cheering for her. This is now yours. Loren looked back at her mother. Karen slipped off a beautiful necklace that Loren had not noticed before the duel. Karen placed the necklace around Loren's head and rested it on her shoulders. You have earned the love of your people. May your reign be long. Karen bowed her head slightly, but Loren bowed even more out of gratitude. Karen laughed. You needn't bow to anyone now. You are still queen, and you have given me a great gift. But it is you that won our duel. They smiled warmly at each other. Saren was finally allowed to join Loren's side. He beamed at her. Congratulations, Saren. Loren smiled back at him, and it perplexed those around her, even herself some. She realized then that she was happy, that she not only had Saren with her in the reliquary, but that she had known him at all. If she had not known Saren, Loren's answers would have been much different. Her lessons would not have been learned. I am grateful. Saren didn't understand the depth of her gratitude until much later. You received the Necklace of Queens. Let's go ahead and check this out. 5 attack, 5 defense, 5 damage, weakened immune, and scared immune. Not bad. Wow. Critical hit, 8%. Damage, attack, defense. Bong bong. Now this thing, Necklace of Speed, is kind of weak and not really too useful, but give it to Apolimesho, who has not been upgraded at all since the beginning, but defeat Mother Mort. Find and kill the Death Knight in the Orcish Wastes. Become a champion of the Orcish Arena. Yeah, we'll do all that too. Let's go ahead and save. See how long we've been playing. 31 minutes, so, we have Apolimesho's quest, but this is not going to be easy, especially with him not upgraded at all. I'm going to go ahead and set the game to easy for this. And I'm going to skip all this dialogue because we heard it already in a previous episode. I apologize if you didn't see that episode. But go ahead and check it out. Let's go ahead and Magic Bolt. Yeah, we had to fight these guys like literally by ourselves, and it just was not going to work. It still might not work. Good. Paralyze both of them. Flood. Alright, now this is all new after this. 48 gold, braces of ice. The orcs were slain. Apolimesho was warned from the climb in the battle. Are you well? I am. No more dallying. Onwards. Onwards, yeah. The old man did not stop to recover, even though Saren knew he needed to. They passed many obscure caves and burial sites in search of the mass tomb. At last they made it. When they reached the door, Apolimesho braced himself to catch his breath. Have some of my water. We'll go ahead and put it on hard for now and see how the future turns out. Apolimesho dismissed him. Saren was offended until he realized that his water canteen was frozen solid. There must have been something that Saren could do to help Apolimesho. The tomb was larger than Saren even imagined. Small utilitarian coffins lined the walls. There must be thousands of bodies here. Tens of thousands. Burials were rare in Erevorn, but the monks of the mountain had made an effort to preserve the bodies of fallen soldiers to honor them. It was almost in vain, as the way to visit the dead was too plagued by the very reason they were often burned. Beware! I have them. Alright, let's save here. I think we're going to have to turn this back to easy, bro, but We'll check it out.
Back to Inferno.
No paralysis on anybody. Cure all. Yeah, we might have to go ahead and put this bad boy on easy.
Stand aside. Disgusting creature.
Wow. 108 XP. The battle wore Apolimesho down even further, and he was forced to take a moment to recover. Saren watched him closely. Why are you pushing yourself so much? The dead here have not left. At my age, everything is a race against time. Apolimesho slowly started to search the names on each coffin. Your assistance is now required. I'm looking for the name of Gwendolyn. Gwendolyn? Apolimesho turned away. Saren was determined to finally be of use to Apolimesho and began his own search in a separate part of the tomb. Hours upon hours passed. Names began to blur together. Find the name. I see it here, but it's not spelled the same. There it is. Saren almost passed up Gwendolyn's name when he finally found it, and then he could not believe it. Sir! Sir! Apolimesho had long disappeared, but he rushed into sight at Saren's call. He hobbled forward, leaning heavily on his staff. Please tell me you have... Saren pointed at the tomb. Apolimesho grasped its end with disbelief. A smile formed on his face, a rare sight for Saren. Who is she? Apolimesho promptly pulled the coffin out with Saren's help and opened it. After the dust cleared, a sleeping skeleton was before them, hands crossed and dressed in tattered clothing. It is my daughter. The wizard reached into his robes and procured a bottled potion. He opened it with a squeak. Saren recognized the turquoise color and immediately grabbed his hand before he could act. Wait, are you sure this is wise? Unhand me. She's dead. You know what can happen. We had to fight our way through the undead just to get here. Is that what you want her to be? Do not instruct me on my own life's work. You have done your job. You may leave the mountain. Sir, I won't allow you to do this. They both stood and glared at each other. Saren reached for the potion, but Apolimesho pulled it away. Young man! In their struggle, the potion tipped into the casket. They froze as the liquid sprinkled across the skeleton. The bones started to rattle. The clothes on his body started to mend. As Apolimesho wanted, the body was animating, but no flesh covered its bones. The skeleton sat up and picked itself out of the coffin. Gwen? The skeleton stood stoic for a moment and then faced Apolimesho. Stars. My daughter. Apolimesho smiled and opened his arms. The skeleton moved towards him, but not to return his embrace. Easy enough. I mean, it's on easy, so... 1, 2 medium, 2 quartz. Nice. Gwen was destroyed, but so became Apolimesho. He kneeled by the remains of his daughter and wept. Why? Why did you give your life when I was so willing? You had so much potential. Saren gave Apolimesho the time he needed to truly make peace with his daughter's death. He had spent so much time in the idea that she could come back that it was clear he had never allowed himself closure. Saren started to restore Gwendolyn to her coffin. Apolimesho was still on the floor, refusing to let go of Gwen's embroidered cloak. Her mother gave this to her. It was the day she was admitted into the Magic Academy. She insisted on fighting alongside me in the war. Her mother forbid it, but I took her anyway. The day I came home without her." He squeezed the fabric. "How did she die?" Apolimesho slowly stood with much effort. Saren finished replacing the tomb. "She sacrificed herself in my place." "Sacrificed?" "Our foe was too strong. She knew what had to be done, and she did it before I could stop her." "I'm sorry. She sounds like a very remarkable woman." Silence filled the tomb once again. Apolimesho turned away. "We need to return." Apolimesho swallowed his sorrow and took belabored steps to make his way out of the tomb. When they reached the entrance and felt the sting of the frigid air again, Apolimesho visibly weakened. He leaned heavily on his staff and shook. Saren crouched in front of Apolimesho. "Allow me to carry you." "Nonsense. You don't need to pretend with me, Archwizard. Let me take but one of your burdens." Apolimesho muttered and sighed. He eventually caved in and allowed Saren to carry him on his back. The trek back to camp felt twice as long. When they were back, they both needed a long rest. Before Apolimesho retired, he caught Saren's ear. "You were a decent help upon the mountain." Saren smirked to himself. "I'm interested in knowing what it would take to garner higher praise if a leg's journey on my back is only decent." After his breakdown in the tomb, Saren thought he would never see Apolimesho's smile again, but then he proved him wrong just then. "Good night." Apolimesho disappeared into his tent. In time, Saren would learn that Apolimesho's alchemy had stopped, and his findings scrapped. After seeing what his work had ultimately led to, he decided it was a dangerous slope, and it needed to end with him. Apolimesho treasured the cloak that he had recovered from his daughter as a way of coming to terms with what happened. After so long, he received the Cloak of the Fallen. Complete all characters' quests. It's personal. Nice. Let's go ahead and equip Apolimesho with probably his first upgrade. 10 magic, 5 SP regen, 2 threshold, 8 defense. Nice. Major upgrade. And is it poison resist? No. Beautiful. Bracers of ice. Frozen resist versus poison resist. Who can use these bracers? You? No. Mirth? No. Draco? No. Saren? No, I guess no one. Alright. Very good. So I'm going to save here. Want to thank you guys for joining me. We have officially finished all character quests. Next time we'll talk to everybody to see if there's anything else going on, and then we will tackle these quests. Like, we'll go ahead and do the kill the Death Knight that's hiding in the Orcish Wastes. If we can handle that, we'll see. I'm going to put it back on hard and make sure to save on hard. So thank you so much, guys. I hope you're enjoying the LP. If you're watching it, feel free to tune in for more, much more to come, as we're nearing very quickly the end stages of the game. We're currently doing the Castle of Enmar expansion DLC, so very cool. Much love, peace, and joy, guys. Thank you so much. I will catch you next time. Tune in for more, because much more to come. Bye-bye.